You're listening to the Morphology Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Morphology Podcast, aka Murph here to share interviews about biking experiences from cyclists who have pedaled to places all over. Each week, we'll get to know new people and explore new destinations to ride your bike. As you listen to these adventures, you may wonder, why haven't I done that yet? Well, a new bicycle ride is coming to Eastern Iowa, organized by yours truly, and today I'm joined by my co-host from the Just Go Bike podcast to discuss everything you might want to know about the Petals and Petals women's ride. This 34-mile bicycle ride utilizes the Cedar Valley Nature Trail and takes riders from Cedar Rapids through the quaint town of Ely to Solon, where we have lunch and turn around and head back to Cedar Rapids. It's meant to be much more than a bicycle ride, and you can find out more at our website, which is petalsandpetalsride.com. Of course, we couldn't do this ride without our generous sponsors, which include Northtown Cycling and Fitness, Iowa Fluid Power Motion Services, the Lynn County Trails Association, Primal Wear, and this podcast. I will also list out friends and supporters of this ride in our show notes. For now, sit back, relax, and hear more about Petals and Petals Women's Ride. Well, it's spring and the time when many cyclists start thinking and looking for their first ride of the season. Today, we're going to introduce you to a ride specifically designed for women. And with me to talk about it is AP. Hey, AP.
Hi, Murph. This is AP, otherwise known as Andrea Parrott, otherwise known as Murph's other half of a podcasting duo.
That's right.
Murph and I podcast together quite frequently on the Just Go Bike podcast, which is the Ragbri podcast. So you may have heard us there a time or two.
That's right. And for those of you that don't know, Ragbri is the 7-day bike ride across the state of Iowa that, gosh, how many years has it been going on? 53?
This year will be the 53rd Ragbri, so quite some time.
That's crazy. So yeah, if you're looking for more bike adventure stories, go over to Just Go Bike podcast, because we do a weekly podcast where we talk about basically cycling for the fun of it. So
yeah.
And I'm proud to say that you and I have been successfully co-hosting that podcast for many years.
That's right. Many, many years. It's a delight to be on the Morphology podcast. It's a rare treat that I get to come over and do a crossover podcast with you.
That's right. Yeah. So do you want to go by Andrea or do you go by AP?
I go by AP, but if you call me Andrea, I'll still turn around and say what. So.
Okay. AP, tell the listeners where you live and what cycling is like where you live.
I live in the heart of Iowa, Des Moines, and cycling here is excellent. As many people know who live in Iowa, there's trails everywhere. You can get almost anywhere on a bike trail in Des Moines, and that's one of my favorite parts about it.
I have spent many, many miles actually biking with you through this, the trails in the Des Moines area. And I concur. It's easy to get lost in a good way in Des Moines because the trail system is so spectacular.
Absolutely. And I will say they've just recently put in a quote unquote mountain biking trail in my neighborhood. Oh. So I say quote unquote because there's no mountains here. But it's an off-road trail that you can ride your bike on in my neighborhood, and I cannot wait for it to be not muddy so I can try it out.
Yeah. So you take your mountain bike out there. Do you do wheelies and jumps and stuff too?
Yeah, bunny hops, I don't know, slides.
Sure.
Dip, dodge, dive, stuff like that. But it's a good time.
Yeah.
As much as you can have a good time when you're not actually on a mountain. So.
Okay, so we shared that we co-host another podcast called Just Go Bike. But what's your, how do you think we can describe how we know each other?
Well, we know each other through cycling. There's no question about that. I mean,
sure.
I guess I'm not sure how you would describe it, but we just started biking together and now we're still riding bikes together. Is kind of how I would say it.
Yeah. And we both kind of how we make our income also has to do with bikes. So do you want to give just a brief highlight of what you do for a living?
Sure. I work full-time for RagBride, the bike ride, and I do all of their marketing. So social media, email campaigns, you name it, I do it. And one day I was sitting there working that job and Murph showed up. And at the time she was working for the Iowa Bicycle Coalition, doing outreach and all sorts of cool things for that company or organization. And the rest is history.
That's right. Yeah. We bike together. We podcast together. We talk about bikes together. So this is perfect for you to be on this podcast to talk about a upcoming women's bike ride.
That's right. And I just want to make a side note that Murph also helps us during the ride. Murph also works for RagBride during the summertime. She does half of the social media. So we take turns doing social. We collect content together. It's really quite the team, along with 2 professional photographers. We really have a good time documenting all that is RagBride. So got to give Murph a shout out for that. We do actually professionally work together besides doing the podcast.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the plug too. Yeah.
Yep. You know it.
Okay. So you and I spent a lot of time chatting, and we had been talking about some of the best rides, that they really aren't always about speed. They're about the people we ride with. And one great example of that is RagBride. But you and I were wanting to kind of step it up a little bit. And Petals and Petals went from a vision to reality. Would you say that kind of sums it up?
I think that sums it up perfectly. I mean, I think you and I are both passionate about cycling just for fun. We don't really care how fast we're going. We don't really care what our watts are. We just want to enjoy the scenery, the people we find along the way, and the adventure of cycling. So that's what we wanted to celebrate with this ride.
Okay, so let's get into this ride. How about we start with just kind of the origin? You know, obviously we were chatting. We were like, we should do a ride. And that's how Petals and Petals was born. But what else would you add to that?
Well, way back in the olden days, Murph and I worked on a similar women's ride back here in Des Moines, and it was just so much fun, and it was so cool to get to see all the women come out who maybe have never ridden a bike before, or all the way to women who have ridden many, many RagBrides like ourselves. So it was just cool to have an opportunity for people from all different cycling backgrounds come together and just enjoy a day on the bike. Yeah,
and we saw the success in Des Moines and wanted to bring a women's bike ride to Eastern Iowa.
Yeah.
So I talked about it in the intro, but this particular ride starts and ends in Cedar Rapids, which is in Eastern Iowa.
Yeah. So, and I'm from Eastern Iowa originally. I'm from Iowa City, Coralville area. So that area is near and dear to my heart. So it just makes sense for us to have a ride there. You came up with the name for this ride. Do you want to talk a little bit about how Petals and Petals came to be as a name?
Gosh, we went through so many other different names, and we came up with this specifically because it represents springtime and bikes and community and women. And so even though, like, sometimes when I say it fast, it sounds like I'm saying the same word twice, but Petals stands for, you know, what you use to propel your bike, the pedals. Mm-hmm. And then Petals is more of a reference to flowers.
Yeah.
And we wanted to, you know, kind of celebrate both, being outside, being on the bike trails, and then also springtime. You know, what happens in springtime? You, Miss Gardner, will, you know, tell everybody that it's when things start sprouting.
Yes, actually, this weekend that we are hosting this bike ride is the weekend that I will plant my garden. So be a busy weekend for me, but it is really symbolic of that time of year. I mean, it just says springtime to me, and I love coming up with a great pun. So this name nailed it.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously we want to celebrate women. We want to celebrate women on two wheels. And so we made a conscious effort to pick Mother's Day weekend. Do you want to share why?
Yeah, well, obviously for me, my mom and my dad met on RagBride. So cycling has always meant a bond with my mom. And it's just, cycling is a great activity to do with your mom or your daughters or maybe your aunts, the women in your life. Just a nice opportunity to take some time for yourself and celebrate all the cool things that you are and have done.
And this ride happens on Saturday, so the day before Mother's Day. So you can definitely take a day for yourself before you go do whatever Mother's Day plans, the family has scheduled for you.
Yeah. It's like a little gift for yourself, like you said.
That's right. A few general thoughts on this ride. First of all, it is definitely not a race. It is a time for women to come together, form a sense of community, just have some fun.
That's right. I feel like as we've gone through the plan for the day, we've been a really conscious effort to make sure that everything is scheduled at a rate where it's really easy to hit all the time milestones. I mean, again, we're not really timing anything, but we're going to have lunch at a certain time. We're going to have, a stop at a certain time, and they should all be easily reachable by anyone who can ride.
I would definitely say, we may have said this in our social media posts, but basically anyone who likes biking can be part of this day.
Yeah.
Whether you are training for something, whether you're just grabbing the bike out of the garage for the first time that year, this ride is for everyone.
And I think if you are someone who, if you're new to biking and haven't done a group ride, you probably aren't listening to this podcast. But if you are, this is a great opportunity to try cycling, get some great advice from other women, and just be supported. So I hope that you feel like you can join us on this ride if you haven't ridden as many miles as we have.
Yeah. So if you're still actually listening at this point, it means you must be a little bit interested, I hope. So should we give some details on what to expect on the day of this ride?
Sure. And like you said, it does start in Cedar Rapids, and it starts in the heart of the Czech village. And it's a really cool neighborhood. If you've never been to Cedar Rapids, I would highly recommend it. I don't know if you want to get into that later, but we will start off in Cedar Rapids and we'll have breakfast, and we're going to have a special welcome.
We are. The mayor of Cedar Rapids, Mayor Tiffany O'Donnell, will be riding with us for a portion of the ride, and she'll be doing our opening remarks.
That's so cool.
You're so right, AP. Czech Village is such a cool community within Cedar Rapids, and this ride kicks off at the National Slovak and Czech Museum yard. So we'll have to check to see what hours they're open. So if maybe after the ride you want to go take a tour, it's an incredible facility. And this is kind of a fun fact. Maybe you know, AP, maybe you don't, but that museum is the biggest structure in the United States that was actually lifted off its foundation and moved.
What? No, I had no idea. That's so cool. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And what happened was it was located right on the Cedar River, and it was flooded when we had our major flood in 2008. And so this company was all like, yeah, we can lift it. So it took, I think it took over a month to actually physically move it. It moved like maybe 3 inches a day, but it was on these huge stilt things, and they moved it and also like swiveled it. So now it still overlooks the Cedar River, but it's at a different angle.
Interesting.
But when you guys see this building, you're going to be like, there's no way that moved, but it did.
I mean, I believe you, but it's very large. I can imagine it would only move 3 inches a day, because that's a lot. I know they also have a very special clock tower out front, and I don't know if we want to get into that now or if we just leave a little something as a surprise.
Let's talk about that at the end, because that is like another, like almost as well. It's actually more cool than the fact that the building moved, but it's pretty cool.
So we will have breakfast included in your registration. We'll have free safety checks of your bike, courtesy of Northtown, which is a bike shop out of Cedar Rapids. So it's a nice time just to make sure your bike's okay. But if you haven't been riding, I would suggest that you get a tune-up before you come.
Yeah. And then, I said we'd have opening remarks from Mayor Tiffany.
Yep.
And there's fun stops scheduled about every 6 miles, including a restroom and a water break. Of course, you don't have to stop if you don't want to. But then at the turnaround point, which is in Solon, Iowa, that's where you'll have lunch, which is included in your registration.
Yeah. So we've worked really hard to make sure that all the stops are going to be fun, something that someone would actually want to get off their bike and do, and not be too like, I don't know. I really hate when people always say, oh, well, it's a woman's ride, so they get chocolate and wine, like really stereotypical. We're trying to move away from that and more into just fun things that everyone can enjoy. So on the return trip, one of our stops will include a DJ party and mocktails. So
that's right.
Something that everyone can enjoy, not just people who like alcohol. So
a quick interruption to tell you this week's podcast is sponsored by Lizard Lips Lip Balm. These great lip balms contain natural ingredients, come in a variety of flavors, and you can choose certified organic or balms with sun protection. Check it out at lizardlips.net. Now back to the show. And the best part about this entire ride is it's on a paved trail, which is called the Cedar Valley Nature Trail. This is a rail trail that stretches, almost 70 miles from Evansdale, which is a suburb of Waterloo, all the way down to Ely.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, wait a minute, we go beyond Ely, we go to Solon, the trail ends? No. There's a connector trail that will get you all the way to Solon. It's paved, it's beautiful, it kind of meanders through like this acres and acres of, there's like a lake, a pond it's a beautiful area. And do you know that the Cedar Valley Nature Trail is part of a bigger trail system?
Well, I know, but maybe we should tell our listeners why.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell them.
This trail is a part of the Great American Rail Trail, which is a 3,700-mile route from Washington State to Washington, D.C. And it's not 100% finished, but this route they're adding more and more to it every single year. And the Cedar Valley Nature Trail is part of it. So it's really epic.
Heck yeah. I spend an awful lot of time on the Cedar Valley Nature Trail and absolutely love it. Whether it's a group ride or a solo ride, it's just a nice calming way to get on your bicycle and not have to worry about vehicle traffic.
It's a beautifully maintained trail. And when you say the connector between Ely and Solon, to me, that says brand new trail, great condition, gonna be fun to ride on. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it should be a real treat. And again, if you're a new rider, this is a great way to kind of get your legs under you as far as understanding the trail system in that part of Iowa and some options that you could find to ride pretty far north and south, from one central location.
More details will be on our Facebook page and our website, but some of these stops, there are businesses that you can stop in, whether you want to have, there's an ice cream place that's amazing. And there are a few bars, there's a few breweries. So whatever, you're in the mood for, those are all available within our bike ride area.
Yeah, I think the ice cream stop in Ely is a must for me, but among other musts, but highly recommend it.
So that ice cream shop, I don't know if it'll be happening when we pedal through, but they have like these glass windows where you can watch them making the ice cream. Ooh. It is so amazing. And of course, you finish watching, you have to go get some.
Well,
you have to eat some immediately, right?
Yeah, well, fresh ice cream, that's a must. So,
exactly, yeah. Okay, so who should ride this ride called Petals and Petals?
Well, you should ride, of course. I think so, especially if you're a woman, particularly if you're a woman, as well as your friends. Bring a friend, bring a couple friends, bring your team.
Yeah, I would say AP, I don't know if your mom is available, but she should come and ride.
Yeah, and I'm hoping my mom brings my cousin and maybe some of my aunts. I don't have a daughter, but bring your daughter.
Yeah.
Or it could be a great way to meet new women who you don't know already. So, find some new riding friends, like how Murph and I found each other riding bikes one day.
I think both seasoned cyclists as well as those new to cycling will still have a great time on this bike ride.
Absolutely. If you can ride a bike, you belong on this ride. And if you can't ride a bike, put your training wheels on and come anyway.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. No judgment on that one.
Absolutely.
E-bikes are welcome. You're on your own to make sure that you have enough battery for the day. And we have gotten this question a couple times, but can men go on this ride?
This ride is heavily focused on women. It's a women's ride. It's a women's celebration. We do have a couple men who are registered, so everyone is welcome, but you have to be riding with the mindset of the celebration of women. So get your support shoes on. I don't know.
And I think the men who have registered are registered with their spouses.
Yeah.
And so, who knows the reason they chose to register. But like AP said, everything is focused on women, like the clothing, the apparel that are part of your registration are women's sizes. If there's men out there that are interested in being part of the day, we are definitely looking for volunteers. So that's an option for you too.
Yeah. And maybe they just want to ride because we have an excellent charity that we're supporting and they can be a part of giving back to that.
So a portion of your registration goes to a really amazing organization called Waypoint Services. It's located in Cedar Rapids. And guess how long it's been around, AP?
Ooh. 10 years.
It's been around since 1894.
Wow.
Yeah. So Waypoint has lots of different little avenues that it focuses on, but it's basically devoted to helping improve the lives of those in need. That begins with birth. Cedar Rapids chapter of it used to be called the YWCA. But Waypoint has specialized in empowering area women to improve their lives.
That's so cool. And that was another really important thing as we were organizing this ride. We want to make sure that we're giving back to the community that we're cycling in, especially to the women of the community. So this is a really cool way to do that. I mean, not many nonprofits have been around for over 100 years. That's insane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do so much for the community, which we'll get into more when we talk about it on our social media and our website.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really great. We've been talking for a while. Why don't we do a little recap about the ride?
Oh, good idea. So the date is May 9th, 2026, and the mileage distance is 34 miles. It's an out and back.
Yeah. Super doable distance, especially on flat pavement. If you've never ridden that far, I challenge you to do so. I think you can do it. And I think you can ride with us. It's going to be super fun. If you have ridden a lot before, I think you should still ride and just enjoy every single stop and the fun that we are about to have along the way.
Yeah, it's so much more than a bike ride. It's actually like an experience. There's lots of fun things that you'll have the opportunity to do in addition to riding your bike.
Yeah.
And people have been registering. We have over 20 different cities represented so far.
Wow, that's so cool. I cannot wait. Every time I talk to you, I ask how many people have registered, where are they from?
Yeah.
It's so fun to get updates from you about where people have come. So let's get a couple more cities on the list.
And our website to find out more is Petals and petalsride.com. And we'll throw that in the show notes too. But okay, I talked about this earlier and I want to come back to it. So when we talked about Czech Village, you know how you kind of alluded to there was something else really cool there?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a clock, but it's a little bit more than a clock. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
It's spelled Orloj, but it's pronounced Orle.
Oh, okay.
It is a Prague-style astronomical clock. It is freaking amazing. It's the only one you'll find in North America.
Wow.
I mean, how cool is that?
Wow.
It's located on the lawn of the National Czech and Slovak Museum, which is where we're starting. So you will see it. You will maybe hear it, but it has everything that you want to know about the time, when the full moon is, what month it is, the actual real time. Like, it is so cool. And then every hour, a little door opens at the top and these 12 figurines come out and dance.
It's so cool.
They're not real people. They're actually, figurines that stay there year round.
It's like a enormous cuckoo clock because there's like a little figurine of a farmer, a coal miner, a meat packer, and a little dog. I mean, it's so cute.
Yeah. And those figurines represent, immigrants that have come. So the whole story is really cool. And then here's a fun fact that maybe many people know. There's a statue of a dog on the opposite side of the clock, way up high. And I haven't figured out when it happens, but randomly it will bark twice.
I think I've heard that.
There's a story about it. Like the official clock in Prague, I believe it might be a rooster. There's some other animal that makes a noise randomly. So they kind of did an ode to that when they did this.
Oh, it's so neat. I can't wait to get my picture taken next to it as we kick off the Petals and Petals ride.
Yeah. So I know I'll see you before then, Andrea, but hopefully everyone out there is a little bit motivated. If you can't make it, maybe send this episode to a friend and have them check it out.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you out on the ride. If you have any questions about it between now and May, feel free to reach out to us. The Petals and Petals Facebook page is, I bet you Murph will link it in the show notes.
That's right. Yeah. And AP, thank you so much for coming on the Murphology podcast. And it's fun to be able to podcast with you every week, but this week we get to do it twice.
This is a real treat. It's not every day I get to be on the Murphology podcast. I feel like I'm famous now.
All right. Well, maybe we should go for a bike ride today.
I think so.
Well, that's it for this episode. Email me at murphologypodcast@gmail.com if you have a topic or the name of a cyclist you find interesting. Support my podcast at patreon.com/murphology. Visit my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and website for daily entertainment. I have more great episodes in the pipeline, so keep on listening to the Murphology podcast.